We break down the Pac-12 win totals for 2023. Adidas is hopping on the woke train just in time for summer, and we go through the current college baseball rankings. Check it out and more on the Friday edition. Crain and Company. The best day, the day we should play the college football championship on if y'all are going to pick a weekday. But I'm not going down that road.
You could go there.
I hope everybody's having a great Friday. This show is pre-recorded. I'm going to go ahead and let you know. I'm getting married tomorrow. We're in Birmingham today. Got the rehearsal dinner tonight. Going to be at Top Golf.
TG.
Top Golf
round noon today. Figuring it out. Making some decisions.
Call my
having a good
caddy.
time with the boys.
You bringing clubs?
I'm bringing a caddy.
You bringing personals?
Good.
Huh?
You bringing personals?
I'm trying to win.
God, look, I
not
respect
gonna
it.
win.
There's a
Seven
reason
iron,
you invited.
7-iron, and pitch and wood. That's
exactly
pitch
right.
and wedge.
That's it?
I want to try those.
That's all the personals I need. I'll swing what they have.
I want to try that baseball one they got that's like Top Golf.
Dude, yeah, that's
like that one looks dope.
Oh yeah, somebody was telling us about
I
that.
think there's one in Texas. I don't know
Gotta
where
come
the
to
other ones are.
Nash.
Gotta come to Nash.
Got to be
Vegas,
one of
right?
the early places it gets to Nash. I'm ready for this new Tiger Woods little chip and putt course coming.
Yeah.
out.
Oh, it's not here yet. I thought it was already here.
No, I don't think it's here yet.
It's coming soon though.
Oh, we
are you
gotta
taking
test
all your
that out.
clubs?
No.
I don't want to carry it back.
I got too much stuff to take. I got
Pitch
too
and
much
wedge,
stuff to take.
7-iron.
Their clubs aren't terrible. They're small.
No.
They're small. They're going to be small.
Glove. May need a glove.
I'm bringing a glove.
Gotta have a glove.
I got sweaty hands. I'll throw clubs.
I do too. Like, and not purposefully, which I will do as well.
Well, yeah. I mean, you did that last weekend.
No.
Yeah, you did.
No.
I saw you break it.
No.
Yeah.
I thought you weren't watching us.
Well, the fact
That's what you
we
said
turned around and
yesterday.
said,
That you weren't watching.
We turned around a
us.
couple
This
times.
man
The
is
couple
a
Look at that
liar.
smile. Look at that
A couple
smile.
times we turned around. One, I saw you break a club off the tee box. All right.
He did do that.
And two, I saw David completely miss a golf ball. Completely miss the whole.
I did.
That was a practice.
It
goes down
only
in the
two
books
times
as a
he turned
practice.
around, so I was like, look, we might have a shot.
David was
Those weren't
trying
the
to
only
juice
two
one
times.
up. We were playing a
Okay.
scramble. We were at
Yeah.
the second shot out in the par 5. David tried to Captain America one from the fairway. And
Look,
Dude, I saw the one ball y'all hit off that fell down into the mountain.
So you saw that one too.
Yeah.
That was fun. I wanted to take a video of that. That's where I'm like torn on the scrambles because I'm like, okay, why don't you just try and hit every shot the best that you can do it, right? Like I'm not good enough to like if I can just hit a good shot each time, that'd be great. But then sometimes I'm like, all right, well, Jake already put one out there. His
Take a
uncle
hack,
already
kid.
put one out there that's nice.
Take a hack.
I'm like, I might as well.
That's what we did on my group.
You're
Look,
sitting 2-0, knowing the dead red fastball's coming, bases are juice. Papa's getting his money.
Yeah, like if you already got one out there, that was a strategy.
For sure.
Last. You go, someone put that out there. I'm trying to carry this ball 315.
And the difference between me like completely missing that one and hitting one 320 is like that.
Yeah.
And I can't really feel the difference. That's why I'm not a better golfer.
That's very
be honest.
look. That's very true. But you did play better than I've ever seen you play. Got to give
fun.
you props
Yeah.
there. Just vibe with me for a second after I say this. Everybody, just relax, okay? The Pac-12 will be the second best conference in college football this year, top to bottom. Obviously, with the SEC in first. Now, I say that not to make a hot take or be a shock jock. But with the returning players at not only the quarterback position, but a lot of positions, including up front in the Pac-12, and teams like Oregon State, Arizona, and Colorado possibly on the rise, it actually checks out if you go through and look at it. Now, everybody is hot on Oregon and USC, and they should be. But I, once again, am picking the Utah boys to win the Pac-12. That's right. It's a three-peat. Shout out Little Weezy. Now, there are many reasons why. Now, the main point is that they're still the most physical team in the Pac-12. And that, to me, is why they've been able to win back-to-back league titles and kind of separated themselves. We've seen something similar with Baylor and Oklahoma State in the Big 12, but they return enough up front on both sides of the ball, and they have enough skill position players that understand how it works to maintain that physicality. I still think they'll be more physical than any team in the league. They return a legitimate quarterback in Cam Rising, who I expect to come back just as strong after tearing his ACL in the bowl game last year against Penn State. It's 2023, not 1973. ACL injuries are not what they used to be, and you can come back from them a lot quicker and a lot stronger than before. Now, they did lose a legitimate NFL tight end in Dalton Kincaid, but senior Brant Kuithe will be able to keep a playmaker in that spot. We know how talented he is, and he has experience. I love Jaquindon Jackson, a guy that really came on toward the end of the year last year, and I think he has a chance to be one of the biggest breakout players in the Pac-12 this season at the running back position. Now, the talent at wide receiver is there. Money Parks, they've got a few guys that can run around the outside that can cause problems. But up front, they return both guards and their right tackle. And you have to admit the way that Coach Whittingham has cultivated talent up front on the offensive line since he's been there, lends you to believe that the young guys will be fine as they transition to play more snaps. Now, defensively, losing Clark Phillips obviously hurts. He was the Pac-12 leading interception guy, but there are returners who can somewhat fill that void. In Cole Bishop, had 83 tackles last year, and Travis Broughton is a guy at corner to really keep an eye on. The defensive line should be strong, and the unit overall returned 7 out of their top 10 tacklers from last year. Now, it's weird to say, but Utah has to get better on special teams. Typically, they're elite. They dominate that area, but they've taken a couple steps back recently. Now, you look at the schedule, this Utah team it's not easy, but it is navigable. You should beat Florida in the opener at home, and I think you go on the road and beat Baylor early in non-conference as well. But the danger comes in conference when you go to USC and a Washington team that should be pretty explosive. Now, I think Utah goes at least 10-2 this year. And if some breaks go their way and they split those games on the road between Washington and USC, don't be shocked when you find the Utes as a true playoff contender down the stretch. Now, guys, we're going to do our Pac-12 over-under total wins like we've done for the Big Ten, like we've done for the SEC, like we've done for the Big 12. We got Pac-12 left, and then ACC. But right now, and I'm not going to hold you to this, all right? I have picked Utah to win it. I'm cemented in that. Who is a team early that you're going to take to win the Pac-12? If you had to pick a team right now, like I said, this isn't set in stone, all right? You're not going to have to pull a sword out of a tablet or stone or anything like that. But who are you taking right now?
I'm really looking at Washington. I like this Washington team.
Crazy.
You were on them early last year. Part of it, I'm a little bit biased. I have friends who are on that coaching staff, but also I've just seen what Michael Penix Jr. is able to do. He looks like he's healthy and he's slinging the ball around, and I think their schedule sets up pretty well. But I love Utah. I love the style of football they played. Some of these bowl games the last couple of years have been incredible. Obviously, they go out to Florida last year and take that early loss, which really, they're a goal line touchdown away from
not
winning
turning the
that
ball
game
over.
when Cam Rising threw that interception. He's coming back. The one thing for me on Utah, and I'm not going to push back on your point on the Pac-12 being the second best conference in college football this season, top to bottom. I don't think the Big Ten, top to bottom, has proven that they're going to be able to be better than some of these teams in the Pac-12 that are returning these elite quarterbacks. And think about, we were talking about the Pac-12 being on the brink of collapse, right? It's amazing what they've been able to do, and they're returning so much talent. I can't wait to watch the football as I'm looking here at these schedules that are coming down the pipe. But Utah specifically, the over and under right now is at 8.5.
Free money.
Which means they need to go 9-3 to hit that over. But listen to the schedule here, though. They get Florida at home, all right? They go on the road to Baylor. All
Not
right?
easy, but I like them in that game.
All right. And then another non-conference win there in week 3. I think they'll be able to handle. Then UCLA at home. They go on the road to Oregon State. I'm just going to hit some of these road games that are tough here. Oregon State on the road. You're going to go to Southern Cal on the road, and you got Washington on the road. And you still have to play Oregon, even though you get that one at home. So that's a tough schedule to me.
It is. I don't know. And I think there's a couple teams that avoid the big dogs. But I mean, you're going to have that sprinkled in somewhere. But that's where I like the experience at the quarterback position and up front. That travels. Experience travels. Now, the defense has to be able to create turnovers at the rate they did last year. I think they will. And if Cam Rising will protect the ball, and I'm not just talking about interceptions. I'm talking about when he scrambles around. There was a lot of times last year where Utah was driving and he spit the ball out when he was running. I think you're going to see him slide a lot earlier this year. I think you're going to see him take care of himself a little bit more, because one of the best parts about Cam Rising's game is his IQ, is the natural instinctual feel that he has as a runner and throwing while on the run. He decided to come back. There was talk about him hitting the transfer portal, which I thought was nuts. Now, the biggest thing for Utah, what scares me, if Cam Rising does get hurt again, you got the Barnes kid behind him. Do you trust the backup quarterback to be able to maybe get you through a couple game stretch if Cam Rising is hurt. We know quarterbacks go down all the time. Length of time depends on the injury, obviously, but that's the biggest question. But outside of that, man, 7 out of your top 10 tacklers return on defense. You return both guards and one of your tackles, and they've cultivated some glorious players up front over the past couple of years. So, man, I really like Utah, Blaine.
It's not a bad pick. Obviously not a bad pick. I'm going to go with the USC Trojans.
Yeah.
To win it all. I mean,
defense.
what was your glaring weakness last year? It was your defense, especially your front seven. What have they done? It's got a bunch of good players out of the portal. I think Alex Grinch is doing a great job. Obviously, when Bear Alexander, a bunch of kids from Purdue. Your secondary wasn't bad. You almost led the nation in turnovers from a secondary standpoint. And when you play Utah just ran it down your throat. Let's be honest here. They're a better team, especially in the championship game. But I mean, you bring back Caleb Williams. You know, with the Lincoln Riley coach offense, they're going to be phenomenal on offense no matter what. But I do think their defense, even if they get slightly better, right? Slightly better. If you have a mediocre defense with USC, I feel like that offense is good enough to win a Pac-12 championship.
Oh, they are. I mean, again, if they're just average, I think.
You go to Notre Dame.
Yeah.
All right, the winnable game.
I love this way.
Winnable game, in my opinion. You go to Colorado, to Arizona State, Stanford at home. You have Washington at home. You go to Oregon, which will be a tough game. But you have UCLA at home, and I don't think UCLA is going to be the same team they were last year.
I don't think so either.
I mean, look at that. Utah, Washington, and UCLA all at home. So you go on the road to Notre Dame, which will be a blast, and Oregon.
And it's in the latter half of the season, which helps your
You'll know by
defense,
that time.
right?
Yeah.
Your defense will be comfortable. They'll know what their assignments are. It'll be natural at this point.
And I hate to say this, it gives other teams more times for players to get hurt. I mean, that's a real thing. Like, we're not wishing injury upon anybody. That's just kind of the truth of the matter. The thing that I think, again, you look at Washington. I don't think you'd be crazy to pick Washington.
No.
I think Arizona's going to be improved with Delore at quarterback. I'm interested to see Oregon State. That's the team to me that I find the most interesting with DJU coming over. We know what that coaching staff has been able to do. I know we have a lot of Oregon State fans in here, especially our boy Sean Ketstever is a big Oregon State guy. And we're going to do our over-unders. I may disappoint him a little bit when it comes down to unders. But say what you want. Utah will be prepared. And when you're car shopping, you want to make sure that you're prepared as well. And our friends over at CarZing know a thing or two about getting people prepared to make a big-time purchase. It's the best place to go. I know from personal experience using it, I actually went in to buy the car feeling like I knew the play call. I knew the playbook. I knew what everybody could do. I wasn't going in there flying blind. I wasn't going in there hoping and guessing. And we know that buying a new car can be stressful for everyone, especially if you're a first-time buyer or you have no credit. So before you walk in that dealership and you spend the entire day with crowd stress and potential to not even find the right car, you need to check out CarZing. They're completely changing the way you buy a car online by partnering with credit agencies, lenders, and over 25,000 dealers nationwide. CarZing provides you with everything you need before stepping foot into the car dealership. It is your spring practice. It is your summer workouts. It is your fall practice before car buying season. You can instantly pre-qualify online without affecting your credit score and get instant financing details, including what your down payment would be, your monthly payment, term, and APR, which, I mean, it's basically like stealing. It's incredible. So once you find the right car at your ideal budget, all you have to do is bring your saved deal voucher with you to the dealership to finalize your next ride. Even if you're not in the market for a new car, you ought to check it out to get some information. Mm-hmm. They help make the experience faster, cheaper, and like we said at the beginning, less stressful. And I promise you guys, they really do. So visit carzing.com/booster. That's carzing.com/booster, BOOSTER, today to skip the guesswork and find the best deals near you. That's carzing.com/booster. I mean, again, being prepared is the best way in general, but when you're going to make this type of purchase, which is one of the biggest purchases
a daunting
you
purchase.
make. I remember I've gone in blind before, and it's not a good feeling.
No.
Yeah.
And someone out there listening to this show right now is at the beginning of that car buying process, and they maybe have been reluctant because it's such a daunting task. Give CarZing a try.
Even if you're not in the market to get a car. I mean, it's like window shopping. I mean, just go find an area, poke around, see if you like anything. I mean, CarZing, just the availability is what's great.
Well, yeah, and it lets you know where you stand. Mm-hmm. And it doesn't affect your credit score. That's the biggest thing for me. I could go into a big diatribe about that, but carzing.com/booster. Go check it out and get prepared for the biggest drive of your life. All right, Coney.
Overs and unders?
Overs and unders. Let's do this.
Pac-12?
We're going to stay in the Pac-12. It's Pac-12 heavy right now. I get it.
Who's going first?
I'll go first.
2 overs.
Pretty basic. Utah over 8.5.
Okay.
I feel like that's stealing. I feel like it's stealing.
All right, so they're winning 9 games.
Okay. At least 9.
Okay.
At least 9. I mean, at the end of the day, David, I think they could mess up and still go 9-3. Let's say you lose those games on the road. You lose to Washington. You lose to USC. It even gives you a buffer game at home to maybe lose to Oregon to get to 9. I don't think they're losing in the non-conference.
Okay,
Baylor
so
doesn't scare me like they scare everybody else.
Okay, so Florida, obviously week 1 they get at home. I
They
think
may
beat
kill 'em.
Florida. You think they're beating Baylor on the road?
I think they're beating Baylor on the road.
Okay.
That's where that experience comes in. So it gives you that buffer. Saying you're gonna now you got to take care of business at Oregon State, right? You got to win the ones that you should win, and they've done a good job of that out there in Utah. But I mean, I think the over 8.5 right now, man, I'd get it while the getting's good. I would get it while the getting's good. Then my second one, I like Arizona over 5.5.
Interesting.
Jed Fish, man, I think he's one of the most underrated coaches in the country. They got the Jake Delora kid to transfer in from Washington State. I think they're going to go at least 6-6 and make a bowl game. It was a rebuild process at Arizona. It's a rebuild process for Dillingham out there at Arizona State. But I like the direction that Arizona's going because Coach Fish gets the most out of his guys. I like what they've done a little bit in the portal. I like what they return. So those are my 2 overs. Who you got, Blaine?
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead. Yeah.
Okay, for my overs, obviously, I'm going to take USC.
Yeah.
I think they're going to.
They're at 9.5.
9.5. I think they're going to win 10 games at least, in my opinion. The hook is kind of scary in that. Just the defense is automatically better with the portal guys they've already gotten. I believe in Caleb Williams, especially get over 9.5 the Pac-12. And my other over was Arizona. I mean, just the improvement you've seen in 1 year. Is it likely they're going to get 4 more wins like they did the year before? No. But I do believe they'll win more than 5.5 games. Just with the new coaching staff, just the new culture they have built there, I believe in that. Are we going straight to unders or are we just doing overs right now?
Let's go. I want to see this USC first. I mean, I don't think it's unreasonable to think they start 6-0.
No, not at all.
Then you go on the road to Notre Dame, which that one is going to be a blast. So if you think if USC drops 2 games, which ones would they be?
I think it'd obviously be on the road at Notre Dame. And I think they would lose at Oregon.
Okay, so they beat Washington at home and Utah at home and UCLA?
I think so. Yeah.
So who was your second one?
My second was Arizona as well.
Yeah.
Just going over?
Yeah. Just the improvement they've shown in 1 year. And then that roster didn't get worse. And they brought back most of their players, especially most of their offensive weapons. So I believe they'll win. I think they're going to have a 7-8 game win season.
I don't think that's crazy at all. I absolutely don't think that's crazy. That's why I picked it.
Well, I'm going to take Washington to start. I'm going to take Washington over 9. Now, they don't have a hook on theirs. And it's one of the reasons that even if Washington goes 9-3, you would push.
Yeah.
Right? But here's why I think they could get to 10-2. First of all, in the non-conference there with Boise State, Tulsa, and Michigan State.
Okay.
And then in conference there, you start with Cal and Arizona. It really is not out of the question that they could start 5-0. I know, Boise State's always going to have a good football team, but the Michigan State piece, it doesn't worry me as much as it would have in years past, just because Mel Tucker has been hemorrhaging players in the transfer portal now. We've seen the starting quarterback league,
I think
wide
he's in
receiver
trouble,
league.
David.
I don't know what's going on at Michigan State, and it wouldn't surprise me if Michigan State fields a really tough-nosed football team and beats Washington at home. It's not going to surprise me. I'm just looking at the way things have been going there. And then you get Oregon at home, right? Arizona State at home. You go to Stanford. Let's see how good they are. Southern Cal on the road is going to be interesting for Washington. And then you get Utah at home and then Oregon State on the road. So Southern Cal away, Utah home, Oregon State away is a tough 3-game stretch for Washington towards the end of the year there. But like we talked about, Michael Penix Jr. coming back, I'm expecting big things from Washington. Even if they go 9-3 on that, you would push on the bet.
Shout out Nikki Sheridan.
Shout out Nikki Sheridan is going to come on the show soon. Talked to him yesterday. Also, Stanford and Colorado over 3.
Ooh, you like both.
Okay, here's why I like both. Neither have a hook there. Right, so again, I'm saying they would have to get to 4 for you to hit, but 3 gets you at least a push, and I just have a hard time believing Stanford can't win 3 football games.
Bad.
I mean, Stanford here, let's take a look 1 second. All right, Hawaii to start.
Gotta win.
You got to go beat Hawaii. If you're
be.
Stanford, I don't care who's coaching or who's playing quarterback. You got to figure a way to beat Hawaii. And then week 3, obviously you go to USC week 2, but Sacramento State week 3. I have to think those are 2 wins right there automatically for Stanford. You have Arizona on the schedule. I know you guys really like Arizona. You go to Colorado, which let's see what Deion Sanders is doing. That's going to bring me to my next one after that. And then Cal is also on the schedule.
Yeah.
So if you win 3 games,
I don't think
that's
it's a bad
push.
bet.
Let's see what happens. And then on the Colorado front, I know a lot of players have been leaving Colorado, but Deion Sanders is trying to set the tone there. Again, 3 wins. I think Deion Sanders can get to 3 wins, and 4 would get you the win there.
Who they beating?
The problem is TCU and Nebraska back-to-back. I think they could beat Colorado State. is week 3. You got Arizona State on the schedule. I think they could beat Arizona State. You got Stanford at home. Maybe let's see if that's a win. And then, like you guys said, let's see how good Arizona is going to be. You get Arizona at home.
Man, if you talk about a springboard game either way, Deion Sanders versus Matt Rule early, winner, you can get off the launch pad, gives you a lot of momentum. Loser, and you got to look when it's played early in the schedule. So look, taking Colorado and Stanford, at 3, I do think it's a smart bet.
I wouldn't take either one at 3.5. If you add in the hook.
I agree with that.
Get a safety buffer there, and then Stanford wins 4 football games. That's a bad season by Stanford terms, but you would hit your bet.
Yeah, no, I don't think you're crazy at all. I do want to say these over-unders are on DraftKings. Make sure you go over there, find them, and sign up with code BOOSTER as well. Now to unders. All right, I love Jonathan Smith. I think what he's doing at Oregon State does not get talked about enough. I just don't believe in DJU. I just don't. I'm sorry. And I know some of the skill players they had at Clemson weren't like the ones they used to have, but I just don't trust them. Now, I think it's going to be heavy run. I think that's what you're going to see from Oregon State, run to pass, even though Jonathan Smith's a quarterback. But I got him under 8. I feel like they're not a 9-win team, personnel-wise. And one of y'all, if y'all don't mind bringing up the schedule so we can tell everybody. But I feel like it's a 7-5 year, which, you know what, isn't a disaster with the way Oregon State's come back. I know there's a lot of expectations now, but it is a little bit of a different team for Oregon State, even though, again, I want to say, I hope I'm wrong on this because I'm rooting for Jonathan Smith. And Oregon State may have the best color combination in college football, if we're going to be honest. Those uniforms are absolutely dope. But can you run through the schedule real quick, Blaine?
Yeah, so week 1, you go to San Jose State.
Should be a win, even though San Jose State can be tough. They always got a couple guys.
Week 2 is a win. Week 3, this is they're out of conference. You got San Diego State at home.
Never
Not
easy.
a walk in the park.
Not with the defense they run.
All right, you go to Washington State. All right, then you have Utah at home.
Tough.
Go to Cal. UCLA at home.
That one.
To Arizona. To Colorado. Stanford at home. Washington at home. And you go to Oregon.
Well, there's a reason it's inflated. It's because, you're not playing USC. You don't have all the big dogs. The games that you're going to have to steal one or two on the road to be able to get over 8, in my opinion. Now, a lot of it's going to come down to, and the reason I picked the under is because I think the bottom of the conference is going to rise up except for Cal, and I'm going to get to that in a second, even though Justin Wilcox, I think, is going to figure it out. But I feel like if it was last year's Arizona, if it was last year's Colorado, if it was somewhat of last year's Stanford, even though they got to replace Tanner McKee, good luck with that. This would be an over that I would take. But I feel like DJU, I just don't trust him. I'm sorry, I can't get past it.
Why would you?
Like, I can't get past it.
There's no reason to trust him.
And it's not like there's not a lot of sample size in it.
Yeah.
So again, I hope I'm wrong on that because I absolutely love what Jonathan Smith's done. And then my second under, I got Cal under 4.5 wins.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel very confident in this one. I know they've made a few additions in the portal, but you look at the non-conference. You got to play Auburn at home. You look at the in-conference schedule. Not exactly a walk in the park. I can't find 5 wins. I can't find them.
Okay.
I can't find them.
Week 1, you go to North Texas.
And that's not, I'm telling you right now.
Play now.
Like, just remember, that North Texas team, I know they lost a couple guys, a couple to Auburn, actually, including Shorter, the wide receiver, that linebacker as well. But North Texas, they've recruited some guys that can play with Cal. They can run with Cal.
Then you got Auburn at home.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Tough.
Then you got Idaho at home.
You'll win that one.
You go to Washington.
Loss.
Arizona State at home. That'll be a game.
That'll be a game.
Oregon State at home.
That'll be a game.
Go to Utah.
Loss.
USC at home.
Loss.
Go to Oregon.
Loss.
Washington State at home.
It's going to be a game.
And you go to UCLA.
I mean, you can look and try and manipulate your way to find 5. I'm not seeing 5. Especially you lose in North Texas, you're not winning 5. It'll tank. That season will tank. And they basically have a bye week in their second non-conference game. But then you get Auburn at home. I'm just telling you, man, smells like 4-8, maybe 3-9. And if that happens, I think Justin's in trouble. Even though Cal, I mean, do they really care that much? Maybe.
Maybe we'll see. Mine?
2 unders.
Taking UCLA. Under 8.5. There's a couple of reasons here. One, you lose your starting quarterback, you lose DTR, and you lose
Charbonnet.
Charbonnet, your starting running back, who both, I don't know, I think Charbonnet is obviously good enough to play in the league. I don't know what DTR if he'll ever. He reminds me of a worse Kellen Mond.
He reminds me of a worse RG3.
Okay, or a worse RG3. But you kind of look at the schedule. I mean, you got your 5 road contests. So you go to Utah. You got Oregon State, Stanford, Arizona, and USC, and your non-conference matchup. I mean, first of all, you got, I don't know why everyone's scheduling San Diego State.
Or Coastal.
But you got Coastal.
Well, they're getting used to it. San Diego State's ass may be in the Pac-12 for long.
So you got Coastal. You got Coastal week 1. You go to San Diego State the next week. You're going to win week 3. Then you go to Utah. All right, you got Washington State at home. You go to Oregon State. All right, you go to Stanford, which would be a win. You have Colorado at home. You go to Arizona State at home. USC on the road, and you finish with Cal.
What is the over-under at 7.5?
8.5.
Oh, that's a good under.
8.5.
That's a good
So
under. And I like Chip. I know I
think
like everybody,
Chip does a great job, but I don't think their
Greatest
defense is
season
going to be
Some
that
guys
good.
I don't.
You lost your 2 best players on offense.
Yeah.
And I know you have that five-star quarterback with Dante Moore.
Yeah, look,
believe his name
UCLA is
is.
going to stay with the quarterback, but he's unproven.
So, I mean, at the end of the day, I think that's a good under. I'm going to take the Arizona State under 5. Because I just feel like, I like Coach Dillingham and what he's doing with the program, just the roster overhaul.
He's so green, man.
That they're going to have to pull off this year. I think you give them a couple more years, we'll have Arizona State where they need to be. But I just think there's so many moving parts when it comes to this, and their schedule doesn't favor that much either. I mean, they're projected to face 5 of the top 6 teams in the country.
I'm a little bit on the fence about Dillingham. I don't know. And with new guys, you never know, especially young guys. That's the way that coaching has moved. But
That's where about
he didn't call plays a lot, like in his. I'm just telling you, a lot of times he's been around. He's still a young guy, but he's been around. He hadn't been the play caller a lot. Now
the depth worries me.
Yeah, well, that's something that's going to take time to fix. It's like fixing an economy. You don't just flip a switch and now the economy's better. But man, I'm with you. I like your
Week 1, you're always going to win week 1. I don't even know what team that is you're playing.
FCS Southeast.
No, SUU.
Oh, Southern Utah. I'm telling you.
Okay.
We lost.
You got Oak State week 2.
Good luck.
Good luck. Then you got Fresno State.
Good luck.
Week 3. Then you got USC week 4. Then you go to Cal. All right, you have Colorado at home. You go to Washington. All right, then you have Washington State at home. You go to Utah, to UCLA. Then you got Oregon. Then you finish with Arizona.
It's going to take time to rebuild what's
Yeah,
going on.
absolutely.
And
It's
he's
the
got
roster
time.
overall.
They're going to give him time.
He deserves time, I think.
Yeah, well, I'm going under for 2 of the more exciting teams from last season, and one of them I agree with Blaine on UCLA. I mean, it's a combination of 3 things here. One, the 8.5 for UCLA is a high line, so you've got to go 9-3. The second part of it is what you lost, DTR at quarterback, but also Zach Charbonnet, now a Seattle Seahawk. And then 3, like you said, Blaine, you're right on this, is the schedule. I mean, Coastal Carolina and San Diego State back-to-back.
Who
in
the hell
non-conference.
scheduled
I mean,
that?
those teams can play football, and then you go to Utah. I mean, not directly. You get North Carolina Central first, but Utah is on the road. Oregon State is on the road. You still have to go to Stanford, most likely a win, but still, we don't know. You go on the road to USC. Like, those are some tough games for UCLA.
Did the Bud Light marketing team come up with that schedule?
I don't know. I don't know, but I also like the under for Oregon at 9.5. So you'd have to go 10-2. And here's why. Now, I like Dan Lanning, and I expect them to take a step forward, but 9-3 in the regular season a year ago. Texas Tech week 2 on the road at Lubbock.
I'm leaning Texas Tech.
We just had Coach McGuire
and not just
on.
because of that. I'm telling you, I'm leaning Texas Tech in that one.
But let's just say they win that one, right? And they beat Portland State and Hawaii and Colorado, and that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's just say Oregon starts 5-0. Then you go on the road to Washington. You're going to go on the road to Utah. You're going to have Southern California you have to play, even though it's at home, and Oregon State at home. You played them on the road and lost a year ago. You have to go 10-2 in that schedule and not 9-3 for that over to hit.
They play all the big dogs.
So you're thinking it's really going to come down to that Texas Tech game, you would think. Because, I mean, even if they lost to...
If you lost to Utah on the road
and USC,
and you lost to,
Washington.
they could beat Texas Tech on the road, start 5-0, and still lose to Washington, USC, and Utah, and have a great 9-3 season.
Yeah. Yeah.
I could see it. I could see it. That Oregon State game at the end either. Don't forget about that.
I'm not. They lost.
You never know. Yeah, you never know.
Well, that game last year was nuts.
That would have gotten them to 10-2 a year ago.
Oregon got up on them, and then Oregon State just started running it down their throat, and it worked, which absolutely blew my mind with a Dan Lanning coach team, even though I know it's year 1. But they have to take care of business early. That's the big. You go get that Texas Tech win. That gives you a lot of momentum because I think Texas Tech may make a run at this thing in the Big 12, to be honest with you. But
if you get that and you go on the road to Washington and win, before you start getting to Utah and Southern California, you're going to be feeling really good if you're in Oregon.
For sure, 100%.
And if you want to take care of business early and you drink coffee like me, there's only one company to go to. All right, that's our friends over at Black Rifle. The Booster Club knows what's up. We're working on the Flamin' Dragon Brew, okay? We've got a couple
Figure it
pictures.
out.
We put liquid paper on a bee. It died, but we're figuring it out. The Black Rifle coffee literally fuels the Daily Wire. Our office drinks about 40 pounds of it a week, moving weight around the office. If you haven't tried Black Rifle coffee yet, you need to. A great place to start is their Complete the Mission Fuel Sampler, giving you a taste of the entire spectrum of Black Rifle coffee flavor profiles. I had a Black Rifle coffee espresso drink this morning. Got it from the gas station. It was fantastic. They're offering 4-ounce bags of the following roast: the Silencer Smooth, the AK-47 Espresso, Beyond Black, and Just Black. The only hard part will be picking a favorite amongst these classic roasts. So, save money and drink America's coffee. Go to blackriflecoffee.com. Use our promo code BOOSTER at checkout, and you'll get 10% off your one-time purchase, our first coffee club order. That's blackriflecoffee.com. Use promo code BOOSTER for 10% off. Like I said, you can find Black Rifle Coffee in grocery and convenience stores near you. But we'd love if you went online and used our code. That'd be great. Black Rifle Coffee, America's coffee. Cone, tell them what's up over there.
Look at that. That's Power Llama. Power Llama coffee. That's a llama with guns.
Yeah, guess what? You're not on safari. Now you're under attack. What do you got over there, Blaine? You know what you love. I know what you love. That gunship.
A gunship. I mean, look, it's a bird, it's a plane. No, it's a ship with guns that flies in the sky.
And great coffee.
And great coffee.
But no, seriously, that drink I got at the gas station this morning was really good. And
Yeah.
it got me going. It got me going for all we had to record today, getting ready for the wedding. It's an emotional time. Black Rifle Coffee always comes through. Again, it's my go-to. I got it right here in this Leftist Tears tumbler. So blackriflecoffee.com, use that promo code BOOSTER. All right, David, what's up next?
Let me see what's up next. We got, some rapid fire. You want a
Yes.
sound effect for that?
Pew,
Yeah,
pew.
hit that pew button.
Pew, pew.
Yeah.
Adidas. Adidas, boys, has entered the chat.
Wow.
They said, hey, Nike, Bud Light, all you woke corporations, we're not going to let you have biological men on the cover of women's things without us getting in the game.
Yeah, if you're listening in audio, first off, congrats. You're not having to look at this picture. But if you do want to see it, we have it up. Make sure you subscribe. Go to YouTube. Ollie London had a post that showed it. It's the new Adidas women's swimwear range modeled by a man. Like, I can see his man parts.
Get in there, Adidas.
Hanging out. Like, this is just, it's like that part on I Now Pronounce You Chuck and Larry when he puts both the hot dogs in the bun. He's like, does this look right to you? Like, that's just, that's what I feel right now. Like, how am I supposed to take this
movies,
serious?
like somebody figured out how to go back in time and weren't supposed to change anything, but they saved somebody that they weren't supposed to save. And now everything's just backwards.
Yeah, butterfly effect.
Like Doctor Strange, the Avengers is going to show up. I'm waiting on a portal to open up in the sky and aliens start flying out of it. Just Adidas is selling women's swimwear for men. What?
Yeah.
What? What? And I'm the president of the United States.
I mean, I just, again, I'll say this because I feel like I need to. I don't care if you're gay, straight, dress up like a woman or not, okay? But this is too far to me.
I saw some people saying, well, I want to boycott, but I'm running out of stuff to wear. I'm running out of brands to support. That's the point. See, all the entities together want to make sure that the only way you can get away from this is if you go live an Amish lifestyle on a farm or something.
I just don't want to. Let me ask you this, David. Men will actually wear this on the beach, you think? Like you think this will actually get worn? Like this is a real thing that a man will buy that identifies as a woman and will wear this on the beach around
For
other
sure.
people?
Not by me.
Well, I'm not saying you.
Not by
I'm not
me.
worried. I don't think they make one long enough for you. But I don't know. Part of me just, I guess, finds it hard to believe. But then again, part of me is like, well, you've seen a bunch of wild stuff before. Why not?
Yeah.
But again, man, 50 years from now, we're going to look back and our generation's going to be the butt of every joke.
You think
Pun
so?
intended. Yeah.
Well, if that's the case, then that means we will have made a difference, right?
But not in a good, I don't make a difference.
My worry is in 50 years, people will
gonna
be
be
looking
worse?
back and laughing that it's a joke because it wasn't far enough.
Oh,
You know?
David, don't
Like,
put that evil on us, dog.
no, I'm just saying what I'm fearful of. Man.
Okay, well, I'm fearful of it too now. Great. Just add it
What
to
do you
the
think?
list.
Did you get your swimsuit yet?
It's in the mail.
Did you get
Blaine,
your
no, Blaine
beach
got the
wear?
two.
It's in the mail.
Blaine got the two.
You got the two-piece?
Yeah, I did.
Holding out on us, man.
Wait a
Gotta
minute,
show the
wait a
belly
minute.
button.
You
gotta
think, oh
show the
boy, you
belly
think,
button.
got a little
Keep it
brown,
PG, boys.
got a little brown sugar there. Oh, I want to
man.
puke. Oh, okay, we got to move on past. See, now that image.
You want to go to college baseball rankings?
For the love of everything sacred, David, please.
Or do you want to see the picture again?
No, don't show me the picture.
It's our, we actually just saved it as a screensaver on your phone.
It's on your phone.
Yep.
Good. Well, I can't wait to get a new.
Congrats.
phone
There
after
we
this.
go.
Jake.
There it is again.
Right.
Good. Like the side view is too much. The side view is just too much. Because you know what? I'm not even going to go there. Let's go. Okay, yeah, college baseball
College
rankings.
baseball rankings.
Yes. Thank
Wake
you.
Forest at the top.
Before I burned my eyes out like the guys in season 2 of True Detective. Take some hydrochloric
Finished season
acid.
1, didn't you?
I
Yeah.
don't know.
was
Why'd
bad.
you watch it backwards?
Because I realized they were. You know what? I gotta explain myself to you.
This doesn't make sense, dude. Like,
I don't have to explain myself to you.
season 1's the best season.
It is the best season. And guess what? I saved the best for last. Who's the dumb in now? All
you
right, college baseball, NCAA rankings. Wake Forest. Great story, man. Great story. I've watched them play. You talk about a very complete baseball team. They've got the pitching, especially in the front end. They've got enough hitting to be a problem throughout the lineup, 1 through 9. I really like them. And then Arkansas, number 2. We talked about Dave Van Horn a little bit in All Access today. I just wish they'd win midweek games. And Stanford, they got over 3 wins right there, Dave.
Look at that.
Yeah, sitting there at number 3. Florida at number 4 with Jack Caglione. Speaking of Transformers, LSU, that bullpen. Look, really, to be honest with you, outside of Paul Skeens, I don't trust anybody in LSU's pitching staff. And they've kind of fallen. Them in South Carolina have kind of fallen off a little bit. And then West Virginia. All right, if you start with a school that starts with a W and has a second letter after it, you're doing pretty good right now. They're at 6. Burning Couches having a great time. Clemson at 7. Coastal at 8. Connecticut, sneaky, makes a bowl game in college football with Jim Mora Jr. at the
Jim Mora
helm.
Jr. said,
Baseball
"Hey,
teams out here
I'm
getting
coming."
emotional. And then Oregon State. Don't have to worry about DJU on that team.
Rounds out the top 10 there.
Yeah.
Auburn not in the top 25. You were hot about it.
Yeah, I'm not hot. I'm still hot about it. Why not? I mean, you're now what, top 3 in the West? Record-wise, top 3, top 4 overall, good enough to be in there. But look, all that matters is just how you play in the postseason. You look at the regional projections as well. There's some dynamite regionals. There's some great regionals in women's softball this weekend. You got LSU and Louisiana Lafayette. I don't care if you want to be called Louisiana. I'm not calling you that. Sorry, Matt Miguez. It's just that's how I'm living my life now. But man, I'm excited because I don't think there is one team that you point at, kind of like in softball when you point at Oklahoma and you're like, they're just better than everybody else. There's not a team like that in college baseball.
So Wake Forest right now, number 1, 42-8. How you feeling about them finishing out the season?
Well, look, I mean, you've shown me who you are. It's consistent. I think it comes down, just like in any sport, like I mentioned, it comes down to balance. Because just like in college basketball, you got to go through the NCAA tournament. You're having to go through a regional, a super regional, and then the College World Series. Sometimes the pitching's not going to be there. Are you good enough hitting to make up for it? Sometimes the hitting's not going to be there. Are you good enough in the starting rotation and then in the middle, set up guys and then closers, relievers, however you want to put it? And I think they are. I think that's the reason they've won 42 games because the ACC is no slouch in baseball. I mean, you look who's up there right now, and you can tell the ACC is no slouch in baseball. So I do think the SEC is the best conference, but Wake Forest, the thing is, I don't think Wake's going to sneak up on anybody. Obviously, they're number 1 in the country. That's kind of what you lose when you glow up like this. To get there, a lot of times there's a chip on the shoulder. Hey, people don't believe in us. Maybe we didn't start out as well as other people did. But I think Wake has staying power. The one I'm interested to see, and they're not even listed here, they were 13th, I believe, when the rankings came out, is how South Carolina bounces back. Mm-hmm. You know, they were hotter than a firecracker in a volcano early at the beginning of the year, and they've kind of fallen off the cliff. Auburn went out and took 2 or 3 from them. Then they got swept. Then they lost 2 out of 3 again, just lost the midweek game to Charlotte. So there's some very interesting storylines, and there's not one overly dominant team, which means that I think you're going to have a hell of a postseason.
Good. Can't wait. Love postseason.
Yep.
Ready to fly blind?
Okay. Here, I'm going to explain to everybody what this is. We're recording this on Thursday in the afternoon. All right. We don't know. Coming today, obviously last night, between the Panthers and Canes, the basketball game, All right, this is a segment called Flying Blind because we don't know what's going to happen, but we're going to try and tell you what we think did happen. So when you're watching this, either we're going to look like Miss Cleo, Nostradamus, or we're going to look like Jim Jones or one of these idiots that try to predict all this stuff, or the guy who said we're going to write a comment here in like 2 weeks, and they all just obviously didn't write a comment. So, David, number one, state what game you're flying blind in. Then you explain to me this. You give me a score, and you tell me how it went down.
Well, look, once again, the Denver Nuggets just proved to be too much for the Lakers, and the Lakers played well. You know, you had another double-double there from Anthony Davis. He had 28 and 14. LeBron had 32 as well. Hachimura, I think what Hachimura had 14 off the bench, something like that. But Nikola Jokic, triple-double once again with 30-16 this time, 30-16 and 10. I think the Nuggets, it was big for them to get game 2 there in Denver before they go on the road to the Lakers. So just too much. I mean, they're playing complete basketball. They're confident right now. And I wouldn't be surprised if the Lakers get at least one back home in L.A. But, I think Denver's poised to close this thing out in 5, maybe 6.
Give me an exact score.
Yeah, it was 130-122 Denver, so the over got smashed.
Oh, God, absolutely. That's so great. I'm so glad that happened. How about that fourth quarter?
Fourth quarter, big. I mean, look, Lakers once again, any team LeBron James is on, they're not going to quit. They came back. They actually outscored the Nuggets in the fourth quarter, but too much. Nikola Jokic, triple-double, too much for him.
I love it. Blanye.
Yes.
What you rolling with?
123-118 Lakers. It's crazy how that happened, right?
Ooh.
Yeah, let's really.
But I thought David said.
Let's really break it down from a fundamental. No, I think David just said too much 7 times. That's what David said. Let's really break it down from a fundamental standpoint. One, Jamal Murray just didn't look like the same guy in this game.
Ooh.
Obviously didn't shoot as well. Only 23 points, 5 turnovers coming from Jamal Murray. Really not like that type of guy to kind of do that. And you know another guy who didn't have a big game? Michael Porter Jr. Really didn't shoot as well as he did last time. 15 points last game, shot well from the 3. Kind of an off night from him. But the one guy from the Lakers who showed up, who didn't show up in the first game, that's D'Angelo Russell. I mean, in it was 17 and 8 assists, 17 points and 8 assists, really controlled the tempo of the offense. I think Jokic is probably going to have a triple-doubles. I don't think you can stop him. But you can stop the guys around him, and that's what you think you have to game plan. And LeBron James, 13 points in the fourth quarter, really showed his GOAT status. Bah! That's the GOAT right there if it sounded like it. But Anthony Davis, double-double, has 16 rebounds, a lot better than what he had. I believe he had 10 the first game. Big game late shot hit by no other than Schroeder. A 3, corner 3. LeBron drives. What does that bring? What does that bring, David? It brings the double. And then what does he do? Kick it out. He points to
It's a trip!
Ice in his veins, right? So give me the Lakers, 123-118. LeBron ends with 34 points.
What about Austin Reeves? What do you think about his?
Austin Reeves shot better, and he shot a lot better in the first half. He ended with 23 points in the first game. I think he ends with 26 points this game, and he goes on a third quarter tear.
Okay, let me see that blindfold. I'm taking it.
You want in on this?
I want in on this. I don't want to see too. Dude, I feel like you're either RoboCop or a Ninja Turtle. I can't make my mind up.
I was always thinking Bird Box when I do this.
I know, right?
You guys going hockey game?
Don't look outside. We're going to get to calls in 1 second. Hold on. Oh, God. Now I got to tie this thing. Hold on. Or tighten it up. Can I? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
All
right,
boys.
David.
The NHL series we've been waiting on. Hurricanes, Panthers in the East, game 1. How did it go down last night, Jay?
Chicken fingers in hockey. It's what the Canes do. 4-2, nice win. Really, really impressed once again with Sebastian Aho. A guy that demands respect, and not just a scorer. He ended up with 3 points last night. Big 4-2 win, hit the over as well. Look, the Panthers came out, scored the first goal decently early. The arena was rocking, but the Canes, I think it's the physicality that separates them, right? They end up able to square it up after the first period, then go on to outscore them 3-1 for the rest of the game, including the nail in the coffin with about 4.5 minutes to go. Was surprised that they didn't have more success during the power play, but when you look at the Canes, and it's something that we've talked about, I picked them before the playoffs started to win the whole thing. I think there's a sneaky element to them, not that they don't garner respect, because they do. And look, the Panthers are a great story. But you know what else is a great story? Little Red Riding Hood.
Story.
All right, Hansel and Gretel. And what happened to them at the end? They got eaten. Just like the Panthers did last night. But this is going to be a great series. Two teams that have really embraced the underdog roles throughout the season, because one team's in Florida, the other one's in Carolina. But the Canes, show you why that home ice advantage and what Aho's able to do, the Wicked Witch of the East. Oh, where is he? The house fell on you, not me. I just scored again. Responsible for 3 points. It was a hell of a game.
So 4-2 final score there. Amazing because you had the over at 5.5.
Yeah,
So
it just hit.
wow.
Well, that goal,
Wow.
that last
Amazing
goal.
how that happens.
No, that last goal.
Was that an empty netter or was that before?
No. It was before. It was it was a 1-goal lead that they kept the goalie in. The Canes were able to find a way off a rebound to knock it in to get that 2-goal lead, and they were able to hold on. I thought maybe they'd score another one when they pulled the goalie at the end. The Panthers almost scored with about 2 minutes to go, which would have made it interesting. But no, big win for the Canes. It's again though. This series, man, I think this series may be more difficult for the Canes than the Stanley Cup Finals.
So, Blind Blaine, is that how it went down in the hockey game?
No, it's crazy that you bring that up because it's amazing to watch the Panthers win the 4-3 in overtime. It's crazy.
It went to OT last night.
Well, OT
I didn't say what happened in your game. I just asked questions.
Excuse me, sir. Excuse me, sir. Thank you. It's crazy. Alexander Barkov's come out and said, well, we're just happy to be where we are. We're going to keep playing like we're playing. Right? One, I believe in 40 tempo, pace. Florida wants to get out and run. That's what they do. They're one of the quickest teams left in the NHL right now, and the Canes don't want to do that. The Canes want to sit back, control the pace. Kind of remind me of an old Georgia defense. What they want to suffocate you. All right, they want to get you right in and squeeze you like an anaconda.
Anaconda, squeeze.
You can't do that because the Panthers are just too slippery. And we're talking about someone eating somebody. Canes don't eat people. You know who does? Panthers, right? Florida Panthers will win game 1, and they're also will win the Stanley Cup.
Dude, I don't know. I think there's some people that would disagree with you. There's Hurricanes ate a lot of people over time. I mean, let's be honest. Let's be poke honest here.
I don't think they're eating them.
Oh, all right.
Version of it.
I wonder how that went.
I can't wait to see the Nuggets win 130-120.
Dude, listen, real talk though. If somebody hits it spot on,
118,
like we're going to get the lottery number.
It's not. It's like it's what it's going to be.
Yeah.
What it's going to be. It's not a guess. All right. This isn't a guess either. We got phone calls, baby. Y'all thought we weren't going to get phone calls on the pre-recorded show? Guess what? You guessed wrong.
Phone calls. First up, our boy Sasha, who was in All Access, I believe.
Yes.
Sasha in Austin, Texas. What's going on?
Hey, guys. So I heard you guys talking about it earlier, and I want to get a little bit of a take on it, but I've got to start off with that Florida Panthers game where Carter Verhaeghe came out of the penalty box in the third period to swipe in that last goal 4-3 with the Panthers winning.
Wow.
Wasn't that crazy, Sasha?
I don't
Wasn't that crazy?
Sasha's
It's written
flying
in
blind.
I
stone.
love it.
It was phenomenal. It's almost as phenomenal as this Freedom Fuel I'm drinking right now from Black Rifle.
Oh, God, Sasha, you're on
Sasha.
fire.
Oh, my goodness.
Hey, somebody hit a noise button or something, David. Find one.
Get in the studio, man. Oh, no, hold on.
Work 40 hours a week.
That was not.
Hey,
Dude, come on.
Wow.
Miss input.
Get this shot.
There it is. That's cash money, Sasha. I love
We're
it.
doing good on it. We're doing good on it. Well, you guys were talking about the Adidas stuff, and so I want to start actually a boycott of teams that are sponsored by these. So I'm actually going to start with my Texas A&M Aggies, right? So I'm actually going to throw them in the dumpster, but because I'm a Texas A&M fan, and I am that because, well, the rest of my family are Longhorns, and I can't have that. I'm going to go to the total wins of college football, and I'm going to need David Michigan to help me out, get me on the Michigan bandwagon with a good Go Blue to be my new football team.
David, actually, you know what? Can we get some motivational music? And I want you to tell him why he should be a Michigan fan.
Let's go.
All right, let's get that motivational music. Give him 1 second here, Sasha. We're about to get. He just talked to the teachers union the other day, got them all fired up. Now they want to go back to school too. Here it is.
Sasha, one college football team has won more games than every other team in the country. One college football team has the largest stadium in the country. It's called the Big House. One college football team wears the winged helmet when they strap it up on Saturdays and they go out for battle, okay? I know it hurts. I know that you've been a lifelong supporter of the Texas A&M Aggies. I know that every year they're supposed to be back, and we wish Jimbo Fisher the best. Congratulations on everything going on with his son. I think that's amazing. But come this fall, okay, there's one team. There's one team up north in Ann Arbor that I think is poised to win it all. J.J. McCarthy returning, Blake Corum returning, Donovan Edwards returning. Who cares who's playing defensive end? Just reload. They'll probably go in the top 10. This fall, you and I together, brother, we go into battle. Wow. And we're not losing in the college football playoff this year. We're going to win the Big Ten, okay? We're going to win the national championship. And even more important than those things, yes, I said more important than those things, we're going to beat Ohio for the 3rd straight year. Get ready, Sasha.
Sasha, I just want one word to describe how you feel right now, and then you're hanging up. What's one word? Give me one word.
Motivated.
Yeah,
Come on, baby. Let's go.
There he is.
That's a great call on a Friday. Sasha, thanks so much,
done,
brother.
Sasha.
Golly, I love that guy, man.
I tell you what.
You know who else I love? Nighthawk. Nighthawk called in from Ohio. I want to hear what Nighthawk
Texas
has to
to
say.
Ohio. It sounds like a Toby Keith song.
Nighthawk, what do you have? You trying to transition in your fandom as well?
In sportswear?
That's probably a negative.
Oh.
I am great on the side that I'm on.
Yes, you are.
Yes.
I
What's
think
up, dog?
So too.
I just got 2 quick points to make. First point here, I think I speak on behalf of probably all the booster clubs, but we couldn't be any more happier for you and Reed on your big day.
Yeah.
We just appreciate you bringing us along in this whole journey, and we're more than happy for you guys.
Man, Nighthawk, thanks. That means a lot. I'm super excited. And, we talk about the Booster Club being a family, and that's not something we just say because it's cool or hip or trying to get more views or clicks or anything like that. We really mean it. And, yeah, I mean, look, we're all in this together. That's what the trust tree is, man. You know what I'm saying? So I'm really excited. I've given a lot of people a lot of things. I never get anybody last name.
You got to start this weekend.
I mean, that's one thing that But my real point, though, was I wanted to talk more about UFC. I know it's been about 2 weeks since it happened, but if any of you guys happen to catch that Triple C fight, I believe he was robbed, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. Well, that seems to be the overall sentiment that he was robbed. You're not the first person, obviously, that I've heard say that. And, I wonder, and I've thought this to myself, how hard is it to judge a UFC fight? Because it's basically when you're judging, it's not officiating, but it's kind of in that realm. There's a referee, obviously, that's in the octagon, and they sometimes make the call. They call it early sometimes. Most of the times they let them go, though. We talk about it when they don't. But is it harder to score a fight or officiate a game? Mm-hmm. Not a fight. That's not what I'm asking. Like officiate, like it be an NBA official. Well, what do you think, Nighthawk?
I'll tell you what, it's tough. And, I mean, sitting ringside like that, or octagon side, I should say, it really is tough. You're trying to see the pace of each fighter, who's landing. Of course, takedowns, those are pretty obvious when you could see that. But when there's not a whole lot of takedowns, it is tough, I feel like, to officiate a fight. But being a ref, whether it's an NBA too, everything has to be bang, bang. You don't have the replay to be on your side always. You have to be on top of it. I mean, 20/20 eyesight has to be, the way to be.
Yeah, and I think because you're in an octagon, it's not like you're on a court where you're having to run back and forth, or a field where you're having to run back and forth. It is kind of contained, so I think it is easier to keep up with it. Not saying it's slow. I mean, these guys are throwing punches and kicks really, really quickly. But I always get caught in between, you style points, right? Like do they err toward, some, because the UFC knows who generates the most views, right? They obviously want the fighter that has the most cachet and that's easier to promote to win. But then on the other side, underdogs winning are huge stories. I just wonder how much of that, when it's really truly a close decision, like a tight decision, not one that's scored where you're like, oh my God, this is an injustice. I'm talking about it's legitimately tight. Do they err toward the person that has more cachet?
In boxing, for sure. And in boxing, there are at least more rounds for you to score than in UFC, where you're talking about 5 rounds. But in boxing, that's one of the reasons that I've stopped watching so much now, is because they're always going, if Canelo gets in a close fight, they're almost always going to, give him the victory, like we saw in that fight against
Which, I mean, makes sense. Like, I get it.
And that's why, that's the problem. If you allow a fight to go the distance, like this one he's talking about with Sterling winning by a decision, you always have a chance to get robbed if you're not going to knock out a guy. But in terms of judging and scoring a fight, yes, it is difficult, right? And I'm hoping that these judges are making the best calls that they can. But I feel like even early on, when I first started watching boxing and didn't know that much about scoring, you innately, because fighting is such a fundamental, innate sport, you know who won a round.
Yeah.
Right? And then you just add them up and who won the most rounds.
I almost compare it to like them giving somebody a call. Like a big-time NBA player, like LeBron getting a call that maybe a rookie wouldn't get. I just wonder how much of that kind of infiltrates the UFC and boxing. But Nighthawk, thanks so much, man. We always love when you infiltrate the show.
Absolutely. Safe travels.
All right, brother. Thank you.
All right, last one. Taylor in Arizona. What's going on, Taylor?
What's up, guys? It's your boy Bones.
Bones. Yeah,
He's
Bones.
back.
There he goes.
What's up? What's up? I just had to scream across town, maybe violate a few traffic laws to get here and call in on time. And now I have to fix this person-shaped hole in my wall after David's motivational speech.
Look, David will get you gassed up. David will get you gassed.
Some holes are good
I'm
things.
afraid I may say something I'm not allowed to say on here. We start getting motivated. May sound
what?
a little more Kirby Smart.
Like what?
Well, something that starts with an F, and it's not friendship.
Yeah, welcome to my life.
Yeah.
But hey, I just wanted to call and trailing on Nighthawk and Sasha. Jake, congratulations, man. We're all super pumped for you. Anything that makes your life better makes our life better. So we're super stoked for you.
Man, I appreciate that, man. It's been so nice to receive all the well wishes. It really kind of lets you know. It's how important I think this show is and how important it is to the people that watch. And we continue to want to grow. We want to have as many viewers as Ben Shapiro and all these guys. It's a little bit different in the sports realm. But I really feel like we've created, I'm going to create a family this weekend by getting married. And get your minds out the gutter, everybody. But the Booster Club family, you know what? I can't say anything. You're over there wearing a blindfold. All right, I'm over here trying to spill my guts. Will you have a little bit of respect?
Look, I'm having respect. But don't look at me and say you're going to create a family this weekend. Like,
Okay.
We know,
All right.
bud.
Anyway, Taylor, I really appreciate that, my friend, and we're glad you made it home safe.
Hey, Bones, also, I just
Bonesy.
wanted to thank you again. I know I've told you this a couple times, but thanks for sending that film over, Blood and Sand, I believe it was.
Yeah.
You sent me this bullfighting movie
I gotta
from
see
the
that.
40s. Man, I'll let you
I've
borrow
heard
that.
of
You were
that.
talking.
It's really
It
good.
was
awesome.
Yeah,
I loved
it's
it.
really good.
Yeah, but Tay, we appreciate
the next
you.
ones y'all
Go ahead.
gotta watch. The next
Go
one
ahead.
you gotta watch. Sorry. The Man Who Shot Liberty Valance, great John Wayne flick. North to Alaska, great John Wayne flick. And then Memphis Belle is a story about B-52 bomber squad who almost made all of their flight requirements to be able to go home. Fantastic movie. I think it's got young Sean Astin in it.
So
I
I've
can't
seen
remember
that
who Sean
one.
Astin's done.
And I've seen the Memphis Belle too.
Good.
Like I've seen
one
the
was
plane.
fantastic.
I've seen the actual
Oh, really?
plane before. Yeah.
Wow,
My
we
dad
need to check that
big
out.
into
We've
seen
aviation.
it.
Taylor, Bones always brings the juice.
Yeah, he does.
Bones, we appreciate it, buddy. Thank you. Have a great weekend.
Love you guys. Talk to you soon.
Love
Hey,
you.
love you,
buddy.
too, bro. Hey, everybody. Thank you guys for joining us. Obviously, we weren't able to go to the Booster Club because it's pre-recorded, but we got an idea. Rico was probably wrong. There's some other stuff. Sister Stephen Moore was 100% right and everything.
Deacon
that
and
he
Nora,
said.
question about the Bengals. Yes, I
Yes.
think you should try to get Derrick Henry, obviously.
I
I know there was a $2 chat in there.
Cole.
From
saying
Cole
MJ's
Frank.
the greatest.
That's
Cole was in
exactly
there.
right.
MJ's
Telling
the
you
greatest.
LeBron is mid.
Texas Ed about the Astros. I'm sure y'all will be fine.
Don't
but
be
I really
worried.
Hope y'all aren't.
Don't be
Sister
worried.
Riggs probably gassed up at the beginning there. with
Loving the Utah
pick.
love. That's exactly right. You guys are the best audience in the
wear down
business.
USC.
Make sure you check us out. Make sure you hit that subscribe button on YouTube. Go to the Daily Wire Plus, too. There's some fantastic content, including us. I'm going to go get married this weekend.
Hey.
So, got in on this one. Like the chances. Jake being a bachelor anymore.
blow
From
it.
Saturday, we're going. Gone.